The arrival at Meridian's edgether was something sacred about the silence of deep space, something Admiral Noemi Park had always respected. On the bridge of the Dauntless, the air was electric, yet the only sounds were the gentle hum of systems, the soft hiss of climate controls, and the muffled tap of boots on the ultra-dense carbon floors. For years, humanity had gazed outward with wonder and dread. The universe had given up its secrets in fits and starts, water on Europa, microbe fossils on Mars, relic signals from a dozen dead civilizations. But never before had a living intelligence looked back. That was about to change. "Admiral, we're approaching Meridian's outer marker," said Lieutenant Kyra Jensen, voice taut with anticipation. Meridian was the Federation's wild border, a handful of outposts and mining colonies, circling a bloated orange star, its light painting the Dauntless's hull in rust and gold. A few gas giants, asteroids, and nothing else of note until today. Park peered at the main view screen, absorbing the endless black. The Dauntless was a titan in every sense, casting a shadow that dwarfed nearby patrol ships. At 12 kilometers long, its armor was layered in silver-blue alloys and latticework shield emitters, the product of a decade's fear and ambition. Its presence in Meridian had been explained to the public as a readiness exercise. But Park knew the truth. Meridian was a test bed. The Federation's enemies, pirates, breakaway colonies, even the enigmatic Xylith had been quiet, too. Quiet. The silence shattered. Gravitational spike, barked Ensign Gant, her eyes wide over her sensor array. Unnatural. Its folding in on itself weight emergence at 320 Mark 7. Park's spine straightened. Bring it up. Maximum magnification. The starfield twisted. A ripple of blue fire tore a wound in space, and from the rift, a ship emerged, vast, opalescent, utterly unlike anything human. Its hull seemed to be made of flowing crystal and bone, its surface alive with patterns that made the eye ache. A forest of antennae bristled along its spine, casting light like willow. The wisps, gasps whispered through the bridge. Even the AI, Oberon, fell silent for a heartbeat, as if processing awe. "Is it Xylith?" whispered Gant. Park's lips pressed thin. "No, this is new." The alien ship drifted to a halt. Its presence was not aggressive, but it eclipsed the Dauntless in size. Sensors struggled to quantify its mass. The numbers flickered, as if reality itself was debating how to define it. "Energy readings are strange, Admiral," said Jensen, recalibrating her console. "It's powering up, but not targeting us. Open a broad-spectrum channel," Park ordered. "Broadcast standard greetings. Use mathematics. Show we're intelligent, not a threat." The communications officer's hands flew across her console, transmitting. For several minutes, only the slow, rhythmic pulsing of the alien ship filled the screens a deep blue, then white, then gold, as if the ship were breathing. Then, with shocking suddenness, the Dauntless's main display was hijacked. A lattice of symbols unfolded in the air, holograms hovering between bridge crew, twisting in impossible geometry. Patterns bloomed, fractals, Mandelbrot spirals, sequences of primes, all woven with strange glyphs that resembled both language and living code. Jensen murmured, "They're speaking with math and art." Park's heart hammered. She activated her neural link, flooding her vision with real-time translation efforts. In the linguistics bay, teams of xenolinguists scrambled, their holoscreens a blur of analysis. Report. Dr. Henrik Voss, lead linguist, responded through the neural channel. "Admiral, this is pure, structured information. They're requesting parity and exchange, not subjugation. There's beauty in their signal, a kind of challenge, maybe." On the bridge, the tension coiled tighter. The Dauntless's vast arsenal railguns, quantum torpedoes, Sun Lance arrays were all at silent readiness. One wrong move, Park knew, and first contact could become humanity's last. "Admiral," Oberon's smooth, modulated voice broke. Their communication rate is increasing. Suggest matching their pattern with a demonstration mathematics, physics, proof of sentience." Park nodded. "Do it. Keep it non-threatening." The Dauntless responded with a projection of its own. Prime numbers, the Fibonacci sequence, proofs of basic physics, even images of human DNA and star maps. The alien ship pulsed in approval. Its hull rippled, growing translucent. For a moment, the bridge was filled with cascading lights, each color a note in an unearthly harmony. The air itself seemed to vibrate with possibility. Life signs, Park asked quietly. Jensen shook her head, all mingling with fear. Nothing we can read. It's like the whole ship is alive, or aware. Down in the science deck, Voss's team watched in disbelief as the symbols shifted. Admiral, I think, they're inviting us to escalate. A demonstration of capability, perhaps something they can understand. Park felt the weight of command settle on her shoulders. Every simulation, every training, had warned her of this moment. Contact was never simple, never safe. It was a game of mirrors. Show enough strength to demand respect, but not enough to provoke destruction. Outside, the stars shimmered. Meridian's edge was no longer quiet. The universe was knocking, and humanity had to answer. Park straightened her uniform. Prepare the ship for demonstration. Defensive posture only, and keep weapons on standby. If this is the dawn of war or peace, we will meet it as Titans. Her order echoed through the decks. Engineers readied power cores. Marines ran final checks on battle stations. In the observation gallery, a dozen diplomats gathered, breathless, as if attending history's most important performance. On Luna, the Council of Worlds awoke to urgent alerts. First contact, all protocols, all EYES. On Dauntless, aboard the bridge, Park watched the alien vessel, heart thundering, her crew silent and steady. Humanity stood at the edge of the unknown, Titan-class guns silent but awake, their fate written in the cold fire of Meridian's distant sun dot and beyond the viewport. The alien ship shimmered, waiting, watching, and ready. Shadows on the Council's lunar dawn had barely crested the sea of serenity. When the Council of Worlds was summoned, Luna's domed metropolis Clement Prime sat hushed, as if it too felt the gravity of the moment. In the heart of the city, buried beneath layers of regolith and reinforced alloy, the council chamber glimmered in blue-white light, shielded from every threat humanity could name. The round chamber was older than the Federation itself, a relic from when the first nation-states laid down their grudging rivalries and built the first dome on Luna, vowing to never again let politics on Earth decide humanity's fate in the stars. Now, those ambitions felt suddenly small. Live feeds flickered in the air above the chamber's obsidian table. The alien ship at Meridian's edge, the Dauntless's vast silhouette, lines of urgent text and real-time data scrolling ceaselessly. Counselors took their seats, some in person, most as holograms, shimmering with distance and fatigue. Each wore their heritage in subtle ways. The green sash of Europa, Martian crimson, the star Angier emblem of Earth's Pacific Union. But their faces were united by something deeper in certainty. Counselor Johnny of Mars, her hair tightly braided and face sharp with resolve, stood first. Colleagues, we all know why we are here. The Dauntless has made contact with an alien civilization, a ship of unknown power. No guarantee of peaceful intent. Her words cut the hush. We must not delude ourselves. The Titan is our shield, but it could also be our grave. Counselor Makoto, soft-spoken but unshakable, leaned forward. Fear will kill us before any alien weapon. The ship's actions so far are measured, even, beautiful. They want dialogue, not war. Our first message must be one of respect, not threat. An ancient argument flared, the endless dance between hope and caution, unity and self-preservation. Across the table, whispers of subcommittees and security briefings merged with the chatter of a dozen languages. On a side screen, Dr. Henrik Voss appeared, still wearing his linguistics bay badge and a deep weariness in his eyes. Counselors, we've analyzed their signals. It is language, yes, but it is also art, mathematics, physics. They're inviting us to a kind of contested demonstration of mutual intelligence. No aggression. They want to know if we are worth their time. Johnny bristled. Or they want to see how dangerous we might become. Counselor Harrow, your thoughts? Harrow, the oldest among them, cleared his throat. His accent spoke of old London, his eyes of endless policy wars. I see a chance if we're wise. The Federation must speak with one voice, but we must not expose all our strength. The Dauntless is our deterrent, I propose a demonstration controlled. Impressive, but far from our true limits. Enough to show resolve, not arrogance. Others nodded. Counselor Femi, representing the Belt Colonies, added, "Let's not forget, every system in the Federation is watching. Panic will ripple through the colonies if we mishandle this. Already, the net is boiling with speculation. Some call it a second contact, others a prelude to invasion." As debate escalated, holographic advisors chimed in, admirals, scientists, risk analysts, each with urgent warnings and cautious projections. One analysis, bolded in crimson, caught Makoto's attention. Alien vessel capabilities unknown, danger of escalation high if aggression is perceived. Suddenly, the Council's secure feed flashed a direct transmission from the Dauntless. Voice only but steady, Admiral Park requesting urgent guidance. The alien vessel has responded to our mathematics and language. Their symbols now request a demonstration of technological capability. No hostile actions observed. Recommend authorized display. Defensive readiness advised. Silence descended. The counselors felt the weight of it the moment the Federation's fate might hinge upon. It was a Johnny who spoke, voice tight but clear. "We have but one chance to impress, not provoke. We show our strength, but we do not fire on them. We do not threaten. The Dauntless is to fire a demonstration weapon only directed away from the alien ship and any inhabited world." Makoto nodded. "Let us pray that's enough." The vote was almost unanimous. The orders relayed instantly. But tension hung in the room. The fate of an entire species, perhaps more, teetered on a razor's edge. Counselor Femi's holo flickered, his face grave. If this goes wrong, will the Dauntless hold them off? Harrow's eyes narrowed. If it comes to war, the Dauntless will buy us time. But if this is a test, we must pass. The Federation's unity, perhaps even its existence, depends on it. Makoto looked at the images above, at the shimmering alien vessel and the Dauntless gliding beneath Meridian's alien sun. Perhaps this is what we were made for. In the end, not war, but first contact. If humanity is to have a future, let it be one that meets the unknown with dignity. Beyond the council chamber, on every world and outpost, humanity watched and waited, holding its breath for the dawn that would follow, or the darkness that might fall. Far above Luna, the silver-blue warship Titan drifted in anticipation, every gun silent, every shield pulsing, as the council's order reached Admiral Park. The moment had come. History waited, unblinking, for humanity's answer. The Titan's first order came through with all the weight of history behind it. Admiral Noemi Park stood motionless at the heart of the Dauntless's command cathedral, the nerve center of the Titan-class warship. The circular chamber 3 stories tall was a symphony of glowing data, soft footsteps, and the distant hum of reactors deeper in the ship's spine. Above, a panoramic view wrapped the room in a sea of stars, Meridian's orange sun hanging distant and watchful. The Council's message hung in the air like a prophecy. Demonstrate capability. Do not provoke. Show strength without threat. A challenge worthy of the ship and of humanity itself. Prepare for demonstration. Park intoned, voice steady. Her words rippled through every deck, transmitted via neural link and old-fashioned intercom alike. Technicians scrambled in Control Bay 6, their fingers dancing across glassy interfaces. Engineers in radiation armor locked down the antimatter reactors. The Dauntless was a city in motion, more alive in that moment than any single human body. On the bridge, Lieutenant Jensen's hands trembled as she keyed the sequence. Charging Orion Lance, Admiral. Safety interlocks green. Focusing lens array on Vector 6 trajectory plotted clear of all navigation lanes and population clusters. Park nodded approval. Notify all decks and broadcast a visual warning to the alien vessel. Let them know this is a demonstration, not an attack. Oberon, the ship's AI, amplified the message, a simple, universal pattern of caution, blinking lights, open hands, prime numbers transmitted in every spectrum the Federation could muster. Across the void, the alien ship responded in kind, a pulse of gentle, blue light radiated outward, like a deep-sea creature glowing reassurance. The patterns in their hull became steadier, less frantic, an alien sign of acknowledgement. Orion Lance charged and ready, reported Jensen. Sweat dotted her brow. Park moved to the central holopodium. Initiate firing sequence. All cameras and sensor raised to maximum. This will be the message we send to the stars. All across the Dauntless, crew held their breath. In bunk rooms and mess halls, in the hush of medical and the roar of engineering, every soul felt the magnitude of the moment. A low rumble began. Felt more than heard, a vibration deep in the bones. Power from the antimatter cores surged into the weapon's spinal capacitors, where magnetic fields bent and coaxed it into shape. The Orion Lance was not a missile or a laser. It was the distilled fury of a sun, shaped into a beam of superheated plasma and fusion particles, capable of scouring the surface from a planet, should humanity ever be desperate or foolish enough to use it that way. But today, its target was the empty dark. The countdown began, numbers projected in crisp blue across the command cathedral. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fire! A spear of light leapt from the Dauntless's prow, blinding white at first, then violet and blue as it stretched into the void. It carved a glowing channel through the darkness, an artificial sunrise 1,000,000 kilometers long, visible to every sensor and naked eye within the system. Energy rippled outward, washing over the alien ship's position. Their shields lit up a corona of emerald, then crimson, then indigo, as their own technology responded and adapted. For a few seconds, Meridian's edge was transformed. Two titans in silent conversation, their language made of light and power. The alien vessel shifted in reply, its hull unfolded literally, like petals of glass and metal opening to the sun. Gossamer tendrils extended, gathering dust and rock from the nearest asteroid belt. With impossible precision, they wove the debris into intricate forms of floating sculpture of the Dauntless itself, surrounded by spinning spheres and whirls of plasma. It was a show of equal skill and understanding, a message painted not in words, but in physics and beauty. We see your strength. We can answer. On the bridge, the crew watched in awed silence. Admiral Park felt her throat tighten with emotion. Every war game, every doomsday scenario, had imagined hostility or misunderstanding. None had dared hope for wonder, Oberon whispered. Across the neural net, incoming communication symbols, mathematics, mimicking our own demonstration. Analysis, gesture of parity and respect. Dr. Voss, on a secure channel, called an Admiral. We believe they're inviting us to a face-to-face exchange, a meeting, not as conquerors or supplicants, but as equals. Park exhaled long, slow, the tension easing from her shoulders. The order was clear. Prepare for diplomatic protocol. Notify Luna and the Council. Ready shuttlecraft and ensure the aliens' invitation is reciprocated. This is history. In the hangar bays, security teams exchanged rifles for translation, tablets and ceremonial uniforms. Scientists carried genetic and cultural archives, offerings of peace and curiosity. Medical teams prepped for every scenario, from friendly contact to biohazard. 1,000 hands worked in frantic harmony, aware they were building the bridge that might link to civilizations forever. Outside, Meridian's battered star cast long shadows. Across the hull of the Dauntless, the void between ships shimmered. With meaning in the command cathedral, Park allowed herself a single, silent smile, a private moment, unseen by anyone. For so long, the Federation had prepared for war. In the end, it was the courage to show their strength without firing in anger that brought humanity to this threshold. The ancient ship's silence now was not ominous, but expectant. The meeting point, a neutral zone crafted from human alloys and alien materials, floated between them, ready for the most important conversation in human history. The Dauntless's guns were silent, its shields at ease. For the first time since its construction, it was not a weapon, but a handshake, a promise, and a hope. And across the solar winds, the alien ship pulsed once more, awaiting humanity's answer at the edge of forever. Parley at the edge of forever, the meeting place floated between the two great ships, a sphere of transparent alloy and living crystal, neither fully human nor fully alien, but a union born in hours of collaboration over the data streams. Inside, gravity was gentle and air was laced with scents both familiar and subtly strange, a reminder that Each side had compromised, building a space where neither would feel wholly at home, nor entirely out of place. Admiral Park felt the gaze of history upon her as she entered the chamber. Her uniform, newly pressed, carried both the blue star of the United Terran Federation and a small, white patch, a fresh insignia, hastily designed, bearing the stylized glyph the Illyrian had sent in greeting. Behind her walked Dr. Henrik Voss, his pockets filled with data crystals and his mind brimming with translated fragments. Beside him strode Lieutenant Jensen, carrying a simple box and offering, wrapped in gold foil, holding a polished stone from Earth and a single, perfect rose. Across from them, 3 Illyrian awaited. They shimmered, their forms neither solid nor liquid, shifting between upright pillars and swirling clouds of light. Each movement sent a faint song rippling through the chamber, a resonance that seemed to touch the human heart, sparking echoes of memory and dream. Their faces, if such they could be called, were patterns of glimmering facets, rearranging as they spoke. The first words came not as sound, but as a cascade of color and vibration, translating into meaning through the thin gold threads of the chamber's translation web. Illyrian greeting, we welcome you to the bridge between stars. We are not alone in watching. Park nodded, choosing her words with care. On behalf of humanity and all the worlds of the Federation, we greet you as explorers and neighbors, seeking understanding. A second Illyrian approached, its form shifting into a more defined shape, perhaps in response to the human's bodily solidity. Its voice was softer, almost apologetic. We have watched your kind shape fire and metal into titans. Your creation stirs echoes in the dark places. Ancient watchers, silent for eons, now turn their gaze to you. Dr. Voss, voice trembling, spoke up. We have always wondered if we were alone. Now we know the answer. But your warning, is there a threat we do not see? The third Illyrian responded with a swirl of deep violet and a note like a distant bell. Yes, the void is ancient and deep. Many watch, some guide, some devour. Long ago, we two announced ourselves, and for a time, there was only silence. Then came the shadows. A tremor passed through the human delegation. Park studied the Illyrian, searching for anything to anchor these new fears. Are you scouts, ambassadors, or guardians? The first Illyrian pulsed brighter. We are seekers and teachers. Our journey brought us to this edge of the spiral. We saw your light, your titan, as a beacon. It is not only a weapon, but a promise that you will not be prey. A hush fell. Outside, through the transparent walls, the Dauntless and the Illyrian ship Serenial floated, mirrored, equals at last. The chamber seemed to pulse with their presence. Lieutenant Jensen, remembering her task, stepped forward with the gift. This is a piece of our home, Earth, and a symbol, something alive, fragile, but enduring. The Illyrian gathered around the rose and stone. Their energy fields shimmered, scanning, analyzing, and then somehow offering a melody that seemed to make the petals open wider, fresher. A song of growth and return. We accept and reciprocate. A crystal fragment detached from one Illyrian, floating toward the humans. Inside, patterns of light and dark swirled. Voss took it, awestruck, feeling its warmth through his gloves. Within his memory, encoded in form. A map, should you wish. You may follow, learn, and see what we have seen. Admiral Park's voice was barely more than a whisper. Will you help us prepare, if the shadows come? The Illyrian's song turned somber, but resolute. We will share what we can. There are rules we must follow, boundaries older than our forms, but we will teach, and we will stand beside you. We have always hoped to find another who would choose understanding over conquest. Park met their shifting gaze. We will learn, and we will remember. Our Titan is not just a weapon, it is a promise that we will not bring darkness, but light wherever we go. A gentle chord passed through the room. Then let the Council of Illyrian and the Council of Humanity meet again. And often and in peace. Back on Luna, the Council of Worlds watched every second, every word. Around the solar system, on stations and colonies, mining outposts and orbital farms, humans gathered around screens and projectors, witnessing the moment when the unknown became the neighbor, and fear gave way to hope. On the bridge of the Dauntless, officers wept quietly, feeling for the first time in living memory the true weight and promise of their service. In every language, across every network, the news spread. Peace alliance. First contact successful. But in the cold, darkness far beyond meridian, other watchers stirred, some curious, some hungry, some ancient enough to remember a time before stars. The message was clear. Humanity had found friends, and also revealed itself as a player on the galactic stage. As the ships drifted in quiet orbit and the chamber's lights dimmed, Admiral Park touched the crystal gift, feeling the spark of something vast and bright, a future unimagined, a promise unbroken. This was not the end of the story, but the beginning of humanity's journey among the stars.